Welcome into VNL Sports. It is March, so that means madness. And Sunday night, it was MSUM's turn to hit the hardwood at the Sanford Pentagon in the NSIC quarterfinals. In a tournament that's featured some big upsets already, the Dragons tried to avoid one against 11-seeded Augustana. The Augustana Vikings, though, trying to put MSUM on upset alert, but the Dragons breathed fire all night. Jacob Jennison with a rebound and the putback jam, helping MSUM build an early lead. Vikings just had no answer, and Carson Johnson, the freshman, was the star for MSUM, leading all scorers with 28 points. Dragons cruised to the semifinals with an 85-51 blowout win. I referenced the wide open field remaining in the NSIC. This is what I mean. MSUM is the highest remaining seed after both Concordia St. Paul and Southwest Minnesota State, the top two seeds, lost this weekend. Dragons face Winona State in the semis Monday night at 7 o'clock. Following the NSIC tournaments, the Summit League takes over the Sanford Pentagon Wednesday, and the Summit brackets have been unveiled. On the men's side, both North Dakota State and North Dakota hit the court on Friday. NDSU is the 4 seed facing South Dakota, while UND takes on South Dakota State as the 6 seed. Moving over to the women's bracket, this tournament also begins on Wednesday. The Bison earned the 3 seed in this one and battle Omaha in the first round on Friday. UND women get the 5 seed and draw St. Thomas on the other side of the bracket Friday as well. To the ice, UND hockey earned a big 2 points with an overtime win at Western Michigan Saturday to earn a weekend split. That victory keeps North Dakota well in contention to host an NCHC quarterfinal series. And that comeback from down 3-2 late started with assistant coach Carl Gering's 6-on-5 unit.
We didn't quit. The guys competed hard, and Carl's done an outstanding job. I think that's 7 6-on-5 goals we've scored this year. Carl's done a really good job of prepping our guys for those situations. Probably too many times this year again in those situations, but capitalized, and Sasha didn't make any mistake. He scored a goal scorer's goal, and then in overtime too. Fortunate enough to get a power play and capitalize there.
What a time for UND's first series of the year against Omaha in the final week of the regular season. These two teams and Denver are neck and neck for the final 2 hosting spots in the quarterfinals, with UND on the outside looking in due to a tiebreaker. Note the early start time Friday at 6:36, about a half hour earlier, because this one will be nationally televised on CBS Sports Network. While UND was on the road, it was a memorable weekend at the Ralph for the North Dakota State Hockey Championships. And the local champion this season is the Grand Forks Central Knights. Central won its 30th state championship, the most in North Dakota hockey history, and its first since 2021. The Knights defeated the rival Red River Rough Riders 2-1 in the title game after losing to Red River in the championship last season. We spoke postgame with tournament MVP Cooper DeZiel and Central head coach Grant Paranika about winning it all and getting revenge for last year.
It's an awesome feeling. I mean, words can't even describe how happy we all are. I mean, we've been, just from last year, we wanted revenge on these boys, and we got it today. We are 100% back, maybe hang 30.
It's always fantastic, right? No matter what it is when you win, and never gets old, right? Our guys kept their cool and just kept playing on and knew what they had to do to kind of get to finish the game. And yeah, luckily it resulted in the outcome.
Let's go!
After a 12-3 blowout of Bottineau in the quarters, Central had to dig deep. The Knights erased a 3-0 deficit to force overtime against West Fargo in the semis and win it on Ryder Burris's deflection in front on Friday night. Then held off a late charge from Red River for the 1-goal victory in the championship. West Fargo, meanwhile, finished 4th, but junior Packer Bryce Mattern made individual history this weekend. He broke the state single-season goals record with a hat trick against Century Thursday, setting a new mark of 58 goals. Plus, Mattern tied the unofficial state record for points in a season Saturday at 99. And speaking of West Fargo, in the girls tournament, West Fargo United, the 7th seed, went on quite the run to make the title game thanks to great goaltending from Addison Holcomb and a dangalicious double overtime winner, get that word in the dictionary, from Peyton Stalker in the semifinals. But it was Legacy Bismarck winning 3-0 in the championship to claim its first title in the 3rd year of their co-op. That was an incredible weekend. Congratulations to both the champions and everybody who had a wonderful weekend. Great hockey up there in Grand Forks.
Yeah, congrats to our friends up there in Grand Forks. Awesome. That was really cool. And the videos you took, pretty incredible. It's a great weekend it was.
And one more thing as well, Grand Forks Central, the message on the ice we heard at the end of the game, Central's back. Central's back. You heard it there from Cooper DeSeal. Central is back, their first title in 4 years.
Awesome. Thanks, Shark.